Hello and welcome to Prairie Pulse. Coming up later in the show, we'll hear a performance from the Prairie Public documentary, More Than Just the Music. But first, joining me now is Dale Carver, the co-chair of Fargo SCORE chapter. Dale, thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Thanks for inviting us.
As we get started, tell the folks a little bit about yourself, maybe your background, where you're from.
Born and raised in Park Rapids, about 80 miles east of here. Concordia grad, Moorhead. Master's degree in international business from a place called American Graduate School of International Management in Arizona. Pretty varied business career. I had two of my own companies. One was good and one was not so good. I've worked for three Fortune 500s. I've worked for a $250 million company. I've worked for some $2 to $10 million companies. So pretty varied background.
Pretty diverse.
Yeah.
Well, with that background, let's go to your SCORE. Yeah. What is SCORE? S-C-O-R-E.
SCORE is a nationwide network of volunteers to mentor small businesses. There are about 11,000 volunteers across the country, about 300 chapters, and we do probably serve 500 different communities. In North Dakota, we have chapters in Fargo, Grand Forks, Bismarck, Minot, and branches in Williston and Jamestown.
So how many members do you have with all those chapters?
We have about 90 across the state.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do those chapters do?
We try to help small businesses succeed, and we do it in many different ways. Primarily, the biggest way we do it is through mentoring, where a person actually wants to either start a business, or they're in business, or they want to sell their business, and they need some help. So if you're going to start your business, you'll come in and talk to us. We'll set up an appointment. You get on SCORE.org and say request a mentor, and we'll figure out a mentor that can work with you and set a time to meet. And then we'll work you all the way through the process from, are you sure you want to be in business? Do you understand what that takes? What are your strengths and weaknesses? If you're going to start a business, do you have all the strengths that it needs? If you don't, can you get educated, or do you need to hire somebody? Then we might talk about how valid is your business idea? What's different? Why would somebody buy from you? Why would somebody, work with your business? And then, at some point in time, you have to get funding. So we'll help you put together a business plan. We also work with, we're funded by the SBA, and we have other partners in the area across North Dakota that we work with. Obviously, we work with the Small Business Administration. Then in other parts of the state, they're called Small Business Development Centers, which are funded by the state and federal government to help small businesses through economic issues. There's a Women's Business Center here, Fargo, and in Bismarck to help women. And then based out of Grand Forks, and I think they'll soon have an office in Bismarck, as the Veterans Business Opportunity Center. So we work together as a team.
Well, yeah, but let's go back to mentoring just a little bit.
Sure.
As you get started, that gets them kind of maybe through the first initial phase of, do I want to be in business? Do I really have the skills? But how much are you really helping them as they start their business? Do you continue with them?
Yeah. In a perfect situation, we will be mentoring with them as long as they want us to mentor.
Okay.
And it's, what's proven is you're about 60% more successful in your business if you have a mentor. And it doesn't particularly have to be a SCORE mentor.
Sure.
If you have a mentor, somebody that's experienced, somebody that knows about has a good business background, so you can bounce ideas off that person and not be by yourself out there wandering around. So mentoring is very important.
Mm-hmm. Well, jobs and businesses, let's talk about that. How many jobs and businesses has SCORE helped create? And I don't know, you're going to talk nationwide, but interested North Dakota too.
North Dakota, we've probably done 700 or 800 jobs businesses over the last 5 years. And, depending on how it's counted, 1,500 to 1,800 jobs. PricewaterhouseCoopers is contracted by the SCORE they interview every one of our clients after every single meeting, and then they follow up as a follow-on to determine whether or not jobs got created and businesses got created. But we're, as an example, I don't have the numbers statewide, but as an example in Fargo, it cost $136 for us to create a business and $10.17 to create a job. So it's all volunteer, but we're having good success.
Now that's what it costs. Score.
Yeah.
It's hard to start a business for $136.
No. That was our score expenditure to start that business.
So with that said, let's back up a minute and maybe you hit a little of this. How was SCORE founded exactly and when?
SCORE was founded through the federal government in 1964 by an act of Congress. And it became part of the Small Business Administration. And as a result, we're actually not an official part of the Small Business Administration, but we're funded by the Small Business Administration. The Fargo chapter was started in 1965. So this is our 50th year. I believe Minot was started shortly thereafter, and then Bismarck and Grand Forks followed.
Yeah. And with that said, is it totally funded by the SBA, or do you get funding from anywhere else?
We seek funds from local partners, banks, insurance agencies, people like that to help us with,
So what about the staffing? How's the staffing work at SCORE?
It's all volunteer.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, SCORE itself has a pretty nice operating system to set up appointments, and it's kind of what I would call a customer relationship management system. So every time we mentor with somebody, that information goes into a master format, so we can check on that, who they are, what we've done, what they need to do next. But sometimes that's a challenge, to do all the work ourselves.
Well, and obviously it's volunteer staffing, so I understand you're not paid then to do this.
No.
Okay. But with that said, before we came on camera, I was asking you that it used to be mostly retirees. Are you changing that?
Yeah, it used to be called Service Corps of Retired Executives. And I would say, if you really wanted to be blunt, it would have been called Service Corps of Retired White Male Executives.
Oh, okay.
And we've dropped the Service Corps of Retired Executives. We're just called SCORE. And we're really working very hard to become much more diverse in terms of age, gender, religion, race. And we're doing that pretty successfully now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We talked, it's volunteer, but how can people get involved as a volunteer?
There are 3 or 4 different ways that you can become a volunteer with SCORE.
Okay.
The most obvious is you can become a mentor. Okay, and in that system, if you decide that you want to become a mentor, you'll go on the SCORE website, complete the form, and click on I want to be a mentor, and then we'll sit down and talk to you to see, what's your hot button, do you understand what this takes, and see if there's a fit. And at that point, if there is, then we'll put you through a process where you'll take 8 or 9 classes online to learn how to mentor, learn what SCORE is all about, our code of ethics, because we have a strict code of confidentiality. And then you'll probably sit in on 3 sessions with clients watching. And after you've done that for 3 times, then you'll be the lead mentor on 3 sessions, and you'll have an experienced mentor with you. Oh. And then you're on your own. And I was talking to a mentor the other day, and you think, well, I couldn't be a mentor. I don't know anything. Yeah. Well, people with business experience, you would be surprised how much knowledge you have. And when you're working with other mentors, and SCORE has just literally thousands of things in their national library to talk about different topics. So that's the first thing, you can become a mentor. Second, you can become what we call a subject matter expert. And that's where you might have somebody who's got a very specific area of expertise that we don't have. And in fact, many of our volunteers right now that are working become subject matter experts. I mean, we may have somebody that's a degreed engineer. We may have somebody that's an accountant, somebody that's a lawyer. And when somebody comes to an area that we need some help in, we'll ask for a subject matter expert. And they'll come in for that day or that hour of consulting time. The other thing that we can do that's outside of that is we have 11,000 volunteers spread across the United States. And if somebody in North Dakota comes into one of our offices and says, I've got this great idea, and we don't have anybody in the state of North Dakota that has a clue about it. I can give you an example of that. A woman came in and wanted to start an NVOCC, which is called a Non-Vessel Operating Common Carrier, which is a person that does freight forwarding on ocean shipments for import and export. I did a lot of international business in my career and used NVOCCs, but I'd never started one. Okay. So I got online, searched our 11,000 volunteers, and we found somebody in Long Island that had their own NVOCC for 40 years. And I said to JJ, would you mind sitting in on a conference call on the first call, on the first session? Yeah. And there's a very cumbersome application process you had to go through with the Federal Maritime Commission. So I said to JJ, would you mind looking at her Maritime Commission application before she sends it in? Sure, I'd love to. So they've had 4 or 5 conversations back and forth. So we have a subject matter expert. The third thing that we can do, we do lots of workshops where we have a specific topic, and we may have somebody that's very good on a workshop, and that's what they will do for us. They will just become a workshop presenter.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Then the final thing you talked about, do we do this all ourselves? We can always use people to help us with administration and paperwork. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. So people get involved in a lot of ways.
Yes.
Well, let's move on to today's workplace.
Yep.
What are some of the biggest changes from past decades, and how do you help businesses cope? I understand you may have worked with somebody, with 5 generations?
Well, you know, we do a workshop. I just recently did one on, you know, one of the issues right now is 5 different generations in the workplace. You know, somebody that's a baby boomer or even older, trying to work with somebody that's Generation Z, you know, somebody that's just a college kid and he's got 3 computers on his desk and he's looking at his phone and not listening to you. You know, how do you work through all those generations in the marketplace? So that's an issue. I think an issue that's also very critical right now, you know, and you see it very often in North Dakota, is there's a real shortage of people in the workplace. So what do you do as a manager, as an owner of a small business to get those people, keep them, remain competitive, and let them help you grow your business? So that, you know, there's a lot of time that can be spent on that. And then, of course, there's all the social media stuff, cybersecurity. We have lots of interest with people coming to our cybersecurity workshops. So, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different things than there used to be.
Well, there's a whole lot of things here I want to ask you about that, but I don't know how long we've got. What are some of the hot or key business trends happening now, or you see coming?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing is it's because of online and the internet and websites and online shopping. It's in a lot of ways it's a lot easier to start a business than it ever was before, because you can do it in your basement, you can do it in your kitchen table if you want, and without a whole lot of expenditure to get it done. You know, we had a person in the other day that was talking to us about an online tarot card reading business. And, you know, we looked at each other like, don't have a clue. But she had 3,000 followers. So our piece with her was, this is how you get set up with the state of North Dakota. This is how you register your company name. This is how you do a name search to be sure nobody else has got it. This is how you do a domain search to make sure that nobody else has got that name out on the internet somewhere. And then you work them through the process of how to set up your business. You know, you probably should look at insurance. You probably should talk to an accountant. You probably should basically look at some legal things. And there's some pro bono if you don't have a lot of money, but there's also some other people that work very well with small businesses. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you discuss SCORE's programs on helping felons restart their lives?
We've just really gotten started with that. But again, one of the things we really try to do is partner with local organizations. And we've recently partnered with F5 in Fargo area. And one of the things that SCORE has is a significant workshop of programs to help people through their business careers. So one of the things that F5 is going to do is use some of our initial stuff where you talk to a felon and say, do you understand what it takes to be in business? What's your business idea? You know, what's your credit score look like? How do you get yourself in a position so that you can start your business, and if you need funding, get funding? But again, you know, people like F5 are much better to deal with. Mm-hmm. You know, they've got the expertise that we don't have. Now, we've got lots of business expertise, and we're happy to share. That's one of the things we love to do is share our backgrounds, our knowledge with other organizations in the state.
Yeah. You mentioned about online businesses from home, and how big is this becoming?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's huge. And, you know, the other thing that's I think a lot different too is you can do that while you keep your job. You know, and a lot of people, you know, just say, well, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to start this business. And the questions you have to ask about, do you have enough money to make it through this? You know, you're not going to be totally funded, self-reliant in the first 30 days. It might take you a year. So that's, I mean, I think that's pretty critical. But I think you also look at the younger generation. About 60% of the Generation Z, which is like 20 to 25 years old, 16 to 25 years old, want to be entrepreneurs. Mm. And so it's going to continue to grow very rapidly, I think.
You know, at our age, we were told, you know, all new businesses out of 5, 3 fail in the first year or whatever.
Yeah.
I may have the statistics wrong.
No, I understand.
But, but can you talk some of maybe about the success stories that you've had personally with people getting them started?
You know, we've had some restaurants that were successful. I don't think I want to name specific people.
Sure.
We've had a couple of car repair places that have really come back and become very successful. Cleaning services.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I should mention is we also do a fair amount of work with nonprofits.
Okay.
So we've got a number of people that I think are becoming very successful with shelters for dogs and cats and foster homes for dogs and cats. So yeah, it's really all over the board. And again, it's important to understand that when you're starting a business, it's a journey, and you need a partner on that journey. You know, as an example, you might have started the business by yourself, and you're into this business for 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden you think, well, maybe I should hire somebody. I need to hire somebody. Well, we can help you then by looking at, okay, you want to hire them as a private contractor? You want to hire them as an employee? Here's the differences on the tax requirements at the state and federal level. Do you have a job description? We can help you write a job description. Do you know what you're going to pay those people? Here's some sites you can go out on the internet and find out what people with that kind of job are being paid. What should your benefits look like? And you know, we typically what we like to do is give the client homework, and you complete the homework, and then come back, and we'll have another conversation. And you know, it's not right or wrong. It's just, have you thought of this? Have you thought of that? Because you know, we're not in a position to tell somebody that they're wrong. We're in a position to say, here's some other things that you should look at.
Okay. What about helping veterans start businesses? Do you do some of that? We
have veterans come in on a very regular basis. And we'll treat them like anybody else. But there are a number of state and federal veterans programs. So we would turn them over to Wendy Klug up at, they have their offices out of Grand Forks, the Veterans Business Opportunity Center. Mm-hmm. And they have a number of regular meetings, and they can also mentor, but they've got a much better view of programs that are available to assist veterans. Okay. But we'll work hand in hand with her and her group. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, can you kind of maybe talk about the business climate in North Dakota, what it's like?
I think the business climate in North Dakota is pretty exciting, you know. And, you know, in fact, it might be too good when you start to look at what, you know, how many open jobs and how many vacancies there are. But it's exciting. Fargo, you know, Fargo-Moorhead, Grand Forks, doing some great stuff in terms of helping small businesses get started. It's a pretty unique climate in North Dakota, I think. I think the other thing that I would say, the groups that help small businesses in North Dakota really work together, which is kind of strange from what I've seen in other parts of the country. We're more of a team and not trying to fight each other in terms of how can we help. Mm-hmm. You know, there's lots of people, Prairie Den with, there's lots, NDSU, MSUM, Concordia all have entrepreneur programs to help kids get started as entrepreneurs. So it's a very exciting environment, I think.
Yeah. We don't have a lot of time, but are there any other things about SCORE that people may not be familiar with that you'd like to talk about?
No, I think I would say if you've got a thought at all, think about volunteering with us. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can always use volunteers. Regardless of what you think your background is, you can be of value, and if you don't think you're good in some area, we can certainly provide training and assistance to help you get there.
With that said, so if people want more information about whether they want a mentor from SCORE or whether they want to volunteer with SCORE, where's the best place to go? Who can they contact?
www.score.org.
It's that simple, huh?
It's that simple. And then you can click on I want to be a mentor, you can click on I want help. It's all there. And then you can also get an idea of all the programs and support we have for small businesses.
Well, Dale, we thank you for what you do and hope you have continued success.
Thanks for inviting me. I appreciate it.
Stay tuned for more. And now here's a song from Prairie Public's original documentary, More Than Just the Music.
Once barriers have been broken, humanity needs a strong foundation, and we must build it together. Let's come together, learn from each other, my sister, my brother. We're better together, let's stand together, break down barriers and build a strong foundation. Oh, with love and peace for our humanity, we'll stand in unity. We know where the world is now. We know where we wanna be. The only way that we can stand is in unity. We know where the world is now. We know where we wanna be. The only way that we can stand is in unity. We are stronger. We are better if we learn to love each other. There is nothing we can conquer if we learn to love each other. One in the Lord, standing together forever and evermore. Oh, one in the Lord. Oh, when we stand together. Oh, we are one. Hey, oh, forever and evermore. When we stand together. We're gonna stand together. Yes, we
Well, that's all we have on Prairie Pulse this week. And as always, thanks for watching.
Funding is provided by Connie Merkins, Friends of the Lincoln High School Choir, the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. And by the members of Prairie Public.